And God had set it aside way before the world was ever created that Jesus would be born in Bethlehem of Judea. So Joseph went back to his birthplace. He went back to his homeland. And when he went, the Bible said that Mary was very close to having the baby. You think about this, if Mary had a little longer, she had decided, well, I'm going to stay here until you come back, the baby wouldn't have been born in Bethlehem. It would have been born in Galilee, which would have been out of the will and the plan and the purpose of God. But Mary went with Joseph because she wanted to be with her husband when the baby was born, and Joseph wanted Mary to be with him because God had already gave them instructions that that baby that's going to be born, he's not going to be just a baby. He's going to be the Savior of the world. He's going to be the Son of God. So that means his name will be Jesus. So that means that they wanted to be at that place at that same time when the baby was born. So God is never late. He's always on time. So he moved Mary and Joseph. They had to go 80 miles. Can you imagine going 80 miles with a wife that's real pregnant, about to have a baby, and you walking? Can you imagine going all that distance, walking, or even if you was riding a camel? That's a long, long way for it to go. But God had a time. God knew that they had to leave Galilee at a certain time in order to get to Bethlehem for that baby to be born. If you notice, the word said that once they got there, matter of fact, immediately the time came for the baby to be delivered. But they didn't have a place to go. They didn't have a room. They couldn't find a room because, number one, Bethlehem was full. And the reason it was full because Joseph wasn't the only one that was born and his lineage was in Bethlehem. It was a whole lot of people, so they had to come from everywhere to come back to Bethlehem so that they could be registered and pay their taxes and be signed up. So the place was full. Couldn't find a room, so the Bible said that he was born in a stable. Which wasn't no surprise to God. God had that plan all along. He could have had him born in a palace. But God didn't want him to be born in a palace. God wanted his son to be born in a stable so that when he came into the world, that's why Mary and Joseph were there. Matter of fact, they didn't have time to even call a midwife. See, back in those days, they didn't have doctors that would come in and deliver the baby. Because when I was born, a midwife brought me into this world. She came to my mother's house and delivered me. Matter of fact, most all of my brothers and sisters, all of us were born by a midwife. And when the midwife came, she knew what to do, and she knew how to take care of business, and she knew everything. And the lady that brought me into the world, I knew her most of all of my life. And she always said, now, you know you mine, because I brought you into this world. And if you act up and mess up, I can also take you out of this world. They had that same authority back in them days. So when we see that Mary and Joseph had to do this by themselves, they didn't have nobody they could call. But God knew that too. He didn't want a whole lot of folk involved. Number one, because he was bringing into the holy child of God was coming to the world. So he didn't need any and everybody to help her. So the Bible says she brought forth her firstborn son. And when she brought it forth, it says she wrapped him in swaddling clothes and laid him in a manger. That manger was a feeding trough for the cows and the horses and the hogs. They all would go to that feeding trough and eat their food. And so they didn't have a bassinet, a baby bed to put the newborn baby in. So they had to lay it and put some straw in it and put him in that trough. In that trough, that's where he was at. But it said she wrapped him with swaddling clothes. I was reading on that and I just thought it was normal, but it was normal for them. But they said the reason they did it so that, number one, the baby, the legs and arms would help keep them straight and keep the baby from scratching herself and doing different things. And that's why they wrapped the baby in swaddling clothes and they wrapped it tight so the baby would be protected. It was a protection for the baby. So we see that the baby was born in Bethlehem of Judea. The sound was made, the noise was made all around the world. They didn't just come in when they said the baby was going to be born and they weren't quiet, because if you read a little further, he said when the baby was born, that was a word that came to some shepherds that was out in the field watching over that flock by night. And so the angel came and told them that I got some good news for you. Yeah. But when the angel first showed up, they was afraid, because God sent an angel in here right now, and you, all of us, will no doubt be fearful, because he just show up without walking through a door, or just pop up and here he is in the middle of this service. We all would be fearful at that time. So when the angel showed up, they was quiet out there while they was out under the stars. There wasn't no trucks or cars running, because they didn't have none. All they could do was see the stars. The birds would speak. They weren't going to bother them, so it was just quiet when the angel showed up and said, I come to bring you good news to let you know that the Savior is born in Bethlehem of Judea. And how you will know it's him. You will find him wrapped in swaddling clothes, laying in a manger. The Bible says after he came, then all of a sudden heaven lit up like a noonday sun. Angels came from all over, flying over God's heaven, and they all came singing and praising and magnifying